My brother-in-law, Stephen, is a drug addict. To feed his addiction, he has lied, manipulated, and stolen from just about everyone, including me and my wife. He has also spent time in both rehab and jail. For me personally, he stole money, a TV, and a computer. More importantly, about 2 years ago, he stole the watch I inherited from my dad, who passed away when I was 10. Stephen knew when he stole it what the watch meant to me. It was pretty much the only thing I had left of my dad. After that, I told my wife and my in-laws that I was done with him. He was not welcome in my home. I would not go anywhere he was at, including their home. At the time, my wife, Sarah, supported me in this. Stephen got done with another stint in rehab about 3 months ago. According to Sarah, he is clean now and is even working a part-time job. She told me that she wanted to invite Stephen to Thanksgiving dinner. I said no. I didn't care if he was on drugs right at that moment. I don't want him in my house. She kept talking to me about this for about a week, and I refused to agree. Thanksgiving gets here, and when I go to open the door, my mother-in-law and Stephen are standing there. I said that he was not coming to my house. My mother-in-law says that she wants to have Thanksgiving dinner with both her children. I said she's not doing it here. At this point, Stephen says he wants to apologize to me. I told him that I would forgive him when he gave me back my father's watch, and until he does, he can stick to his apology. This upsets my mother-in-law, who starts crying. Stephen is going on about how he is different now. I told him that I didn't care and I don't believe him anyway. At this point, my wife says that I should let the past go. I told her there was no way in hell I was letting it go, and that if she wants to eat dinner with her brother the thief, she can do it somewhere else. But it wasn't happening here. Sarah tells me it is her home too, which it is. I tell her this is my home, and I come before her brother in this house. I would never ask her to let someone she didn't want into our home, and I deserve the same respect. Sarah asked me what was more important, her brother or a stupid watch. I told her my watch was all I had of my father, and I value it a hell of a lot more than a drug addict thief. All of this is happening in the doorway as I refuse to move to let him in. At this point, Stephen says that he'll go and turns to walk away. My wife is furious, and we have dinner alone, in total silence. The next day, mother-in-law calls my wife. Stephen had gone out the prior night, and when he got home, he was obviously high. Mother-in-law and Sarah are saying this is my fault as I upset him. Stephen has now disappeared, and no one knows where he is. Mother-in-law is frantic, as she is every time he pulls this stuff, and Sarah is telling me that I goaded Stephen into doing drugs again, which sounds like complete bullshit to me. So am I the idiot for refusing to tell my idiotic brother-in-law stealing my dad's watch is fine? Edit. Adding this, since it has come up multiple times. My wife did not know that Stephen was going to show up. That was my mother-in-law's idea, that if they came then, I would obviously immediately forgive Stephen. I saw Sarah's face when she saw him standing there, and there is no way she knew. That said, once he did show up, it was pretty clear she was on her brother's side, not mine, not the idiot. Part of the rehab process is warning them that not everyone will forgive them, and that is your right. At least how I understand it. You have no obligation to forgive him, and your wife should know that as well and not try to force you to. He hurt you as much as anyone, and you have a right to your feelings, not the idiot. I literally grew up in a family with multiple drug addicts. He was already using or planning on it, and was looking for a convenient excuse. Nobody is responsible for Stephen's action but him. If he was serious about staying clean, he would have gone to a meeting or called his sponsor. Addicts are excellent at guilting others, deflecting blame, and making others believe in this time. Story Hub. Me, 31M, and Taylor, 30M, have been best friends since forever. We were school buddies, college friends, my parents love him. We vacationed together many times. Taylor is a very affectionate person, kind, thoughtful guy. 3 years ago, me and Ann, 31F, started dating, and now I'm pretty sure she's the love of my life. Brilliant woman all around. We're getting married next January. The conflict. After a long and thoughtful conversation, my fiancé voiced her concerns about inviting Taylor to our wedding. Basically, she had two main reasons for asking him that. 1. Dress code. Taylor is a 30-year-old punk. He wore a dress to our prom. You know, that kind of guy, too. Taylor is dating a guy, which is not the problem. But his partner is also very flamboyant. Anne wants a very minimalist, quiet, calm wedding because she struggles with anxiety and ADHD. So that was her request. I talked to Taylor the next day, and I told him about Anne's concerns. Tay said, "Do you think I'm going to show up in a white dress?" and laughed about it, but I told him he needed to promise he would respect the dress code. Black tuxedo for the guys, that was the code. I got a little caught in the moment, so maybe I was harsher than I should have been. I told him to man up and to act his age. I said some stupid stuff like, "People laugh about you, you wouldn't be a joke." He said sure, no problem, and the next day he declined the online invitation. He keeps telling me we're good and everything is okay, but the situation, it's bothering me. I love Tay, but I know he can be difficult. My group chat with my family is burning because they don't understand why he will not be there, and our friends' group chat is dead since the news dropped. Am I the idiot? You're the idiot. This could have been a really easy "hey, it's important to my fiancé that everyone respects the dress code." Telling him to man up, act his age, people laugh about you is beyond rude and mean. It's cruel. If I was Taylor, I wouldn't attend your wedding either. You need to apologize and take responsibility for being a prick if you have any chance of maintaining this friendship. Though why Taylor would want to. You're the idiot, and let's be real here. You chose to say man up because he wears dresses, and you think that makes him less of a man. If you're enjoying the video, drop a like. My daughter and I have had our fair share of difficulties. We get along better now, but since I don't see her as often as I'd like to, the times when we do see each other is important. She usually celebrates Christmas with my family since her mom is an agnostic Jew, and it's an important time for us. My daughter was previously my son and came out as transgender to me 2 years ago. I honestly blame the last Christmas she spent with my family for her telling her mother so long before me. I think she has been uncomfortable with my family and missed the past few years because my family reacted badly about her coming out as being attracted to men. She doesn't want to be called gay now, as in she sees herself as a straight girl. The last Christmas she celebrated with us. It was my mistake to tell them it all, but I didn't know how to cope with it at the time. They were saying some things to her which weren't right, especially since she was really just a kid, and she reacted by crying and literally running out, which just escalated everything. At first I was excited to have her agree to Christmas with my family again, but now I'm realizing what happened is going to be that but much worse. I don't want to see my daughter crying again, and I want to improve our relationship. My solution seems to be causing more issues. I was thinking I could celebrate Christmas with my family without her, and then do a separate Christmas celebration with her. Edit. I even told her she could bring her boyfriend, something she would not be able to do if she went to my family's Christmas. The issue is, the only other days around that time that I'm free, I'm doing Christmas with my fiance's family, and then me and the guys been friends since high school. Have this tradition that I can't skip. My fiance is also struggling to be accepting, so I can't bring my daughter to her family's Christmas either. My daughter was upset because I had talked about how great our Christmas was going to be since we hadn't seen each other in a while. I said that we're still going to have a great Christmas, and honestly a better one without my family. She says she doesn't care about not being able to celebrate with my family. She says that she wanted to celebrate with me, and I told her she still will. She started saying that she's always the lowest priority in my life, and that she doesn't want to try to have a relationship with me anymore. For any other dads out there, I'm pretty sure you can understand why I'm writing here. That shit hurts, but there's nothing else I can really do. So would I be the asshole? I thought she was just being sensitive, but typically when your kid is being sensitive, it's still important. I know that from experience. Buddy, your daughter has told you that she's the lowest priority in your life because you'd shown her that shit hurts? That's because it's true, and you know it. You're the idiot. Ask your daughter what she needs from you and do it if you want this to be right. You are her father. Act like it. Yeah, why not skip both the family Christmas and the fiancé Christmas sighting unless they accept your daughter? This will be the norm going forward. And spend both days with your daughter. Make it really special. You say there is nothing you can do, but that isn't really the case. You could fight for her. No one is going to say anything to her if they know she has you backing her. Bullying a kid isn't nearly as fun when there are repercussions. You don't want to lose your daughter. Stand up for her. And why are you engaged to someone who doesn't accept your daughter? What is wrong with you? All due respect, get your head out of your ass. You're the idiot. Story Hub. So I, 29F, am roommates with Alex, 30F. Alex and I have been friends since 5th grade, and we are now roommates as Alex moved back to our hometown for a job. She's set to move into her own apartment in January, but she's been with me since October. I own a small house with 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, so Alex gets her privacy and I have mine. We've had no issues. I hosted Thanksgiving this year with my mom, my brother Matt, my aunt, uncle, and little cousin Susie, 4. Everything went fine. Alex went to her mom's house, so she wasn't there. But Alex noticed one of her stuffed animals, a dinosaur I'll call Lucy, was missing. Alex loves stuffed animals, and Lucy and other stuffed animals were her favorite. They're what she told me were her sensory items. Alex is on the autism spectrum, high functioning, diagnosed 2 years ago. My family doesn't know Alex is autistic, as I swore to keep it a secret. She doesn't want anyone to know, but I helped her look for Lucy for over a week and we couldn't find her. Alex has been depressed and crying over this since Thanksgiving. I went to my mom's house on Saturday and my aunt and Susie were there. Susie was sitting at the table holding Lucy. I wasn't super sure, so I took a photo of everyone and sent it to Alex, and she confirmed it was Lucy. I told my aunt that Lucy belonged to my roommate and went to take it. Susie snatched it back and yelled at me, and my aunt asked what I was doing. I told her I was taking back Lucy, that this toy wasn't Susie's. My aunt insisted it came from Susie's preschool, since that's what she told her. But I showed her the message Alex sent me confirming this was indeed Lucy. I reached for it, and my aunt pushed my hand away. My mom asked us both to stop and asked Susie where she got the toy. Susie insisted she found it at her preschool, but I knew she was lying. I texted Alex and asked for a photo of Lucy, and she sent me one of her from high school or college holding Lucy. It had the same bleach stain on its side, so my mom sided with me and said Susie needed to give it back. My aunt called me and Alex ridiculous, and that Susie is too attached to it, and still swore it was from her press school. Susie said the same thing, so not my proudest moment, but I snatched Lucy and left. Yes, Susie was screaming, but I brought Lucy back to Alex. Alex is grateful I found Lucy and brought her back and has been walking around with her since. But my aunt called me a heartless cow for traumatizing her daughter. My uncle hasn't said anything as far as I know, but Matt knows and says I could have handled it better since I was arguing with a 4-year-old, but said I ultimately did the right thing. My mom agrees with Matt and said Susie was inconsolable when I left, but it should have been returned to Alex regardless. I know Lucy belongs to Alex, but now I feel bad snatching a toy from a 4-year-old the way I did, knowing how attached she was to it and possibly scaring her. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Even if she found it at press school, it's not hers. Press school doesn't let kids take toys home. And if she found it lost and found, it still wasn't hers. I get the 4-year-old acting that way cause 4. She will get over it. But aunt should have known better. Not the idiot. You were absolutely in the right to demand the toy back. Your aunt lied to you, then defended her daughter who was also lying. She could have used this opportunity to teach her daughter the consequences of taking things without permission, but she chose to defend her bad behavior. Your aunt's behavior is going to hurt her daughter and the people around her. Story Hub.